Oh, hey.
Oh, hey,
Welcome to Art Jam. How are you
how's
doing
it going?
today? Good.
I'm all right. How are you doing?
Good. You had texted me just before and you were like, I have to restart. It's like, all right.
Yeah, the
But you made
computer.
it in time.
I had some project open that was causing my computer to chug for some mysterious reason.
Oh, fun.
Oh, but whatever.
Yeah,
How are you?
it happens.
How's your day been?
Pretty good. Yeah, I ended up hardwiring my computer, so the internet has been better. I'm hoping it doesn't have any issues today.
Oh, you ran a line finally?
Yeah, I sort
Oh.
of, yeah. It's it's hanging loosely across our house right now, but it's effective, so that's good. But yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter what it looks like as long as you have a
Yep.
hard line.
Yeah, I'm mostly just worried that my toddler's gonna like yank on it at some point, so that's my only real
Does it
concern.
go like across the living room floor or something?
Sorta, like on the side. Yeah,
Oh,
but yeah, yeah. Hello and welcome to everybody. We're at Art Jam now. We're gonna be making some stuff on the channel today.
yeah.
So we
Hello,
got
Ash. Hello, Maria.
hello from Bulgaria, and Ash says good night. So I don't know what time it is there, but or wherever you're at. I
I'm
don't
going
remember
to
where Ash is
assume
from.
probably at least 8 hours ahead of us.
Probably Europe, I'd imagine.
Although I guess it's evening on the East Coast.
That's true.
It's so weird. My left speaker on my computer has been like staticky since yesterday.
Oh, odd.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's bizarre. I think I've got two sets of the same type of speaker that I've had forever, like just regular desktop computer speakers. And I
Hmm.
swapped the left one with the other one, thinking, oh, maybe it's just a speaker, but it's still crackling, which means it's
It's odd.
the subwoofer they're connected to. I don't know.
Weird.
They've
Probably.
lasted 10 years, so if they're dead, then they had a
Oh
good
yeah, it's
run.
time.
Yeah.
It might be time. Right on.
Yeah.
What are you gonna be making today? I saw you did that Unreal 5 piece last week.
Yeah, I started it on Art Jam and then kind of finished it, or 2 weeks ago, and then finished it on Art Jam last
Uh-huh.
week. Last night I just added some fire thing to it because I was like looking online for fire loops,
Hmm.
and so yeah, it's like I just added this little fire loop in it.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, it's like there's a lot of fire on Marketplace, but like a lot of it looks really stylized.
Hmm.
So like I finally found one that looks more realistic, but the thing is, it's not a particle emitter. It's actually just like a loop on a card.
Oh,
But I
okay.
could tell by like when I was looking at the scene, trying to figure out what was going on, I saw that the material said Embergen in it. So then I started
Mm.
researching and found the Embergen Discord, and then in the Embergen Discord, they actually have like an official Embergen Unreal material.
Oh, really?
And so basically, what's playing right there is just a loop coming out of Embergen.
Hmm. Just like
So
a flip book.
a flip book, yeah. So it was called the like realistic fire effects pack on Marketplace. And then
Hmm.
like if I go into the textures and open one, then or is that that's gonna load over here. You can see it's just a flip book.
Hmm.
So yeah, but it's an 8K flip book, which I thought was interesting. But then it's like it kind of makes sense because if you look at it,
They're small.
well, if there's like 8 across and 8 down, it's basically 1K per
Hmm.
cell. And and anyway, Unreal 5 seems to be fine with 8K textures everywhere magically.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it just like always camera facing? So if you like go around to it, it's still.
This one is there's two different packs from the same dude. One of them is camera facing, so it is a particle emitter,
Hmm. Okay.
and but it's just a single sprite just playing the loop
Hmm.
that's facing the camera. And then the other pack that they have are just cards that are not that are just static, you know, meshes. So that
Hmm.
you can manually place them, like if you were just gonna like put a whole bunch of them on top of like a building to make it look like it's on fire or something like that. So you
Right.
don't necessarily want them to be camera facing. But yeah, it really made me want to play with Embergen to make some loops. Not on today's stream, just because I haven't rendered flipbooks out of Embergen yet.
Hmm.
But yeah, and then obviously this morning was researching the whole scanned models thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. So I'll pull up my screen. I'm gonna be working on ahead today. The 3D scan store stuff and some of their like sort of high res wrap technique that they're using to get their high res like textures over to other models. So I'm going to sculpt a head
Okay.
today, and then once I
Oh,
get that
cool.
stuff, I'll try putting that on there.
That's all. Yeah, I loaded a couple of the Z tools, and they're pretty crazy just to see these ridiculous high res scans.
Oh, really?
So here, I'll open one just so you can see what one of them looks like.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, I got to launch zero. Yeah, but they're once I was just couldn't believe when I unzipped it that it was 150 gigs.
Yes, you texted me that. I was like, oh my God, that's so
Yeah,
much
the
larger than
download
I
is
was
still big. The
expecting.
download is like half of that,
Okay.
which is still a big download. And then, but yeah, let me see. My default project is the same as what you have up, but let me switch out of there. One of those models. Let's see. So yeah, I already organized it. So there's, I just bought the packs because it just was a better deal. So
Mm-hmm.
I got the one that has 12 heads and then the one that has like 20 bodies.
Mm-hmm.
But here I'll grab one of the male bodies and then Z tool. Yeah, so it's like a 1.2 gigabyte Z tool.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's how you know it's going to be big.
Yeah, watching Jared and Matt, over the last couple of weeks, Jared has like a couple scans that he plays with, and it just seemed
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that would definitely be quite a time saver.
Oh, absolutely, it is. Because then you're just like you're not doing all that. It's like a better version of a base mesh, I guess. It just has all that information in there. Oh yeah, this guy. I've seen that. This one was one of their featured ones.
Yeah,
What is that? A texture? I assume it's texture versus poly paint on it
it's
right now.
well, it's probably poly paint. Yeah, it's
Okay.
poly paint,
Okay.
but it's oh no, it's a texture. Sorry, I was in
Yeah.
the wrong menu. So that's probably it's a 16K texture.
16K. Yeah, it's 32-bit, or it said,
It's
right?
weird. Yeah, it does. I don't know why it would need to be 32-bit.
Yeah.
But here, if I just go to a flat,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's 32 million polys.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. And then there's a whole bunch of subtools.
That's cool. Comes with teeth and everything.
Those come with, well, I got some teeth. Or it looks too weird flat. I'll just go back to a
It does look a little
shader.
creepy, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, even better.
Now we're on Jared's stream.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta get the body back. But yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah, there's
detail
definitely
on these.
details in there. It looks really high res. I mean, for 32 million or whatever it was,
It almost
looks like
seems it
those
looks like it would be more than 32 million.
for it's probably is it decimated or is it on a base mesh?
No, these are the
Oh, that's
like animation ready ones
okay.
that I bought, and so basically they're. But yeah, there's a lot of detail in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail in that. That's great.
So yeah, so that's that one. Let's load another one. Switch out of that one. Let's see, load tool. But yeah, have you ever used that wrap program before?
We used it at CIG. I never used it myself, but whenever we would do, because it's so good for wrapping a base mesh to another base mesh or to
Mm-hmm.
another sculpt. So if we were sculpting a head or something from scratch, or they would use it a lot. But I've never used it. It seems pretty straightforward. You're kind of just like picking the points as to where it should go. But it seems cool. You're basically saying like, on the cheek, it's here on the source and here on the target and here on the source and here on the target, and kind of do that over and over until you
Oh,
get
I
to
see.
the end result.
So it's fairly quick.
Yeah, in the pipeline we had, it didn't take people more than an hour to transfer
Okay.
stuff. So I think it should be pretty fast. Yeah, that one's definitely nice to see that they're all not like crazy, super deep on the detail because that one's much more subtle, but you can still see it.
Yeah, and you can see it's
Oh
let's
yeah,
let's go to a lower res and see how far down does it go. So level one is
that's pretty good.
32,000.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, so you can see it's like all topologized and ready to go.
That's great.
Topology is a little weird in the
In the crotch area, they just like
yeah.
went straight over the
Yeah.
crotch to make it more generic, I guess, and like not looping up and around the leg.
What I read on their website, I guess like all of the meshes, like all the bodies are all and all of the heads have
Mhm.
the same vert order and the same
Mhm.
topology, so you can actually like swap the maps between them, which is interesting.
Yeah, and then you can also morph the bodies too. So if you wanted to like put somebody's head on another one, you probably could, or vice versa.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So anyway, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see that wrap program because there's obviously some examples on 3D Scan Store's website of just people making a ZBrush sculpt and just I
Hmm.
guess projecting their textures onto it that look pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try.
All right, well,
And
I'm
then
not
they
going to play with
also,
that today, but that's
I'm gonna get set up to play with that. So,
awesome.
and then they also downloaded or came with the Marmoset tool files, which looks cool.
Yeah, I don't have Marmoset on this computer, so those I
Hmm.
won't open. I've never even launched Marmoset. I've used Keyshot,
Hmm.
but not Marmoset. But
It's
I'll
pretty
be in
easy.
Unreal today, probably,
Nice.
and then you're going to start sculpting. Do you know what you're going to sculpt, or just mess around?
Just kind of make a generic head. I think I'm gonna try to probably pull up some reference in a minute, but just kind of getting some bones in there. I liked how in some of their things the heads were not purely like just humans, so I might do some more like fantasy style creature character thing to see how that goes. Um, but yeah, just something. This is kind of more of a test. Like I don't want to try to push it too far and like see all the problems with that. So I want to do something pretty human.
I just realized I don't have any music playing.
Oh yeah, hang on, please hold.
Maria, how big is the scene? This is not really a heavy, big scene at all because it's. I started with the background and then just imported. I mean, if you look at my outliner on the right, you'll see there's not a lot in here. So I've probably got like here. I'll see where are the rocks. There we go. So I've got a few meshes, but not that many. Probably like 8 different rocks, and then I just scattered them around. So it's a really light scene.
Oh, I feel like this music matches your scene a little bit though.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna if I go and grab the map where all those little fire loops exist. This is basically what I grabbed off Marketplace. So you can see it's
Mm-hmm.
just a bunch of, but they're all just cards.
Right.
So, so if I look on the right, you'll see it's. Well, actually, no, these are the ones that are done as. Well, they are on emitters. But yeah, the giveaway was looking at the material because I looked at the material for one of these, like the master
Mm-hmm.
material, and you can see the master
Oh, you see right
material
there,
is
yeah.
MAT Embergen.
Yeah. Like,
It's like,
oh,
oh, I know Embergen. So it's
I
like
know what you're doing
I
here.
could make some of these,
Yeah,
but so yeah, they're cool.
absolutely.
So yeah, I saw a video on. Part of what made me search was there was a guy, Tom something, I can't remember, like who did a YouTube interview on virtual production, and he had
Mm-hmm.
a really cool scene open, and in the background he had this house, it was kind of far away, that was on fire, and it looked
Mm-hmm.
really good, and then he kind of zoomed in on it, and made a comment that he grabbed the fire off Marketplace, and I was like, but where?
Oh, but where
It
did you
takes
find it?
it takes a while because if you search for fire on Marketplace, like a lot of stuff pops up,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah.
But you can see how these are pretty,
They look solid.
yeah, they're cool. Although for some reason, the computer's being funny. Why are you letting me pick that? There we go. Yeah. Let's see if I can just go and duplicate this guy. There you go. Now I have a flaming T.
You sure do. It worked. It looks good though. Like just bringing them all together. Like, oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, I I actually spent like quite a while trying like in the Valley of the Ancients demo.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really cool like she's sitting in front of a campfire,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a really nice looking campfire. So I thought that it would be cool to see if I could snag that fire.
Right.
So I started trying to figure out what was going on with the campfire in the Valley of the Ancients, and it's pretty tricky. Like it's kind of this weird, kind of like Fluid Ninja. I don't know if you've looked at any of the Fluid Ninja stuff on Marketplace. It's like a almost like Embergen, but in Unreal.
Okay. I haven't
And
played with it.
I did like all this because I played with Fluid Ninja for a while as well, trying to see if I could get good fire out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Problem with Fluid Ninja after playing with it for a while on Sunday was then finally learning that it doesn't work with movie render queue. It's really more for like
Oh,
in-game effects,
right.
but rendering it via movie render queue is not currently supported.
Oh,
So it's like, oh, okay, well then I can't use it.
yeah. That's
So
that's
that
a
was
no
that
then.
was a few hours of like, oh nope, okay, great.
All right.
And then the campfire from Valley of the Ancients looks awesome, which is also done in this pseudo volume. It's like volume rendering that's like a 2D volume, 2D
Mm-hmm.
fluids that are then mapped onto like a 3D-ish, 2.5D volume. And then tried to figure out like I tried to migrate the fire out of Valley of the Ancients into a separate scene. And
Mm-hmm.
like the embers would go over, the geo would go over, the obviously the meshes of the logs would go over, but the fire would. And then I went to Slack to like the fellowship group,
Mm-hmm.
asked over there. Gabriel couldn't
Mm-hmm.
figure it out, and he wasn't sure. And so yeah, so kind of like got to this point where like just couldn't figure out how to get it out. And usually things migrate no problem. You just select,
Right.
the asset, put it on like a separate level, and
Mhm.
migrate that level, and it just didn't want to work. So
On.
yeah, just it's like all these constant reminders of like, yeah, you still have a lot to learn about Unreal. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna make a new scene.
Cool.
So empty scene with nothing but an HDR. Have you used the HDR plugin in Unreal?
No, I haven't been into Unreal too much since I was playing around with 5.
Oh no,
Mm-mm.
it's awesome. It's you just go into plugins and just do a search. You'll see a plugin called HDR background.
Okay.
And if you enable that plugin, then under create lights, you'll see HDR backdrop. And when you create that, it creates this scene, like with this HDR already loaded.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you select it, then you basically can select the HDR you want to use and all that kind of stuff. But it's just nice because it just auto sets up an HDR, and then you can just swap in your own. So it just makes the setup really easy. So like I can grab another HDR that I already have loaded in my scene, and then just swap, and now I have a different HDR.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if you ever want to start playing with like using HDRs in Unreal, basically just enable that plugin. So pretty cool.
And it, dumb question probably, but it works with Lumen and like lighting looks good with those.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I think since I'm going to start with an empty scene, I'm going to start by deciding what HDR I'm going to use. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Did I show you the NASA
No.
StarMap HDR?
I don't think so. I feel like somebody was talking about NASA stuff, but
But this needs to be on a sphere, not on a because the HDR plugin creates a dome that has like a flat base. So
it's like
it's made for these kind of HDR so that it can like cast a shadow on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
While the sphere one is made, so like this one, like obviously if I put in a piece of geometry, mega scans and grab a rock. You can see it's like intersecting with the HDR.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
because
like fighting it.
it's a hemisphere that's got like a flat bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But the star one is for free from NASA, and it's massive. You can download it at like 32K.
Yeah, it's cool that they have all that stuff up there
Yeah, it's
because they
this
have a
one.
pretty good amount of photos and just like resources.
So yeah, it's just a NASA accurate 360.
The Milky Way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Obviously, I can
Mm-hmm.
change the intensity of it so it's not so bright.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
So, not how we see the sky.
definitely,
It's
definitely not in LA.
how my camera sees the sky in the desert.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe how an owl sees the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy. I was mentioning that with Matt Miller last night. Just
Mm-hmm.
it's weird just how owls or squid have like these huge eyes so they can see in the dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But anyway, I'm digressing. I got to go find an HDR to use. So you can switch over to what you're doing, and I'll.
Okay. I'm just starting to sculpt it on this head, so I'm kind of positioning it, getting some of the, using that basic one. I'm just going to do a very simple, probably like up pose, and then we'll figure it out as we go.
Ash, yeah, the HDR I got from NASA is I just grabbed an 8K version, and then but you can get it for, if you just Google like NASA Milky Way HDR, you'll find it, and I think 32K isn't even the largest you can download it at.
Just in case you needed it to be super, super high res.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that for if you're rendering at 2K, then an 8K HDR is fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of like what your focus is going to be, because if the sky's going to be out of focus, then you can have a low res HDR. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But if your sky's going to be in focus and you're rendering, let's say at 4K, then that's why people sometimes have to use like 32K HDRs, or else it'll be blurry.
Right. And you're using it as the background itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what the first movie was to use HDRs?
Well, I'm trying to guess. I don't know what it would be.
The Matrix.
Really? Okay. That doesn't shock me now that I think about it.
It's like, remember the Matrix beating Episode 1, Star Wars Episode 1 for best visual effects?
Uh-huh.
And obviously Episode 1 had way more shots in it.
Oh, yeah.
But the Matrix had way fewer shots, but they were new and original with new tech and HDRs and photogrammetry and like all the stuff that never been used in a movie before.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't Episode 1 the first one to be on digital film, though?
Star Wars Episode 1?
Yeah.
Maybe. That I don't remember.
That's obviously not super visual effect, but it's had some firsts.
Have you seen the poster for Matrix 4?
The poster. I don't think I've seen the poster, no.
Yeah, the promo poster. I don't know. I think it looks pretty silly.
Oh, really? I'll take a look.
Well, he's got his like John Wick hair.
Well, that's what he has in the whole thing. Which one is it? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels like they did kind of just pull him right off the set of John Wick. Like, you're shooting in the studio next door, kind of a thing. No time to do hair and makeup. It's a little odd choice to me.
Yeah, but hopefully it's good. I want it to be
I
good.
still want to watch it, yeah.
Oh man, we just watched a movie that was amazing a couple days ago. I think just the John Wick hair reminded me of Nicolas Cage, which then reminded me of this movie. We watched Pig.
Oh, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Highly, 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 highly recommend it.
All right.
Yeah, Griffin watched it with a friend of his, and he was just like, "Oh my god, it's one of my favorite movies, like top 10." I'm like,
Oh
"Really?"
wow.
And he's like,
Okay.
"Yeah, yeah, yeah." And so then we watched it, and it was like, you expect it to be like a John Wick type thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all I'm gonna say is that that's what you
Okay.
expect.
Okay. I think I saw the trailer for it,
Yeah,
or a poster, and it had him with really long hair, and it was like a really dark image or
it's
something.
really, yeah, he's amazing. His performance in it is really, really good.
That's what. There's something about Nicolas Cage where he either is just like spot on, really fantastic, or just committing to the role, but not always on. So I'm glad to hear it's a good one.
Yeah, 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 so good. Dakota, UE is super intimidating to me. It was super intimidating to me as well, so that's
Mm-hmm.
normal. And I think like anything, you just got to start chipping away at it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely different. Like if you're used to Maya or Blender or Max, it's
Yeah.
definitely different.
Yeah. It totally is.
But Josh and I were really lucky. We did the Unreal Fellowship, and that was like a crash course in Unreal. So that made it a lot easier to at least get over like the initial hurdle of just
Mm-hmm.
playing with it for, full time for a month.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for the fellowship, I think that would what I accomplished in a month would have taken me 6 if I did it on my own.
Absolutely, I agree. Same here. It would have just been so much harder.
Let's see, 84. Can I drag from here into there? 4K. Maybe.
Do you know you can copy and paste from scenes? I didn't know that until that.
From an Unreal project to another Unreal project?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that till the other day when I was the event with the manual.
I knew that because it was mentioned in the fellowship. I don't know if I've done it. I've migrated, so I think I just need to remember
Sure.
that you can copy paste
Yeah.
because migrating is a bit of a process.
Yeah, and I've done it before in Maya, obviously, but it really, really dirties up your Maya scenes very quickly, which is kind of annoying sometimes. But as soon as he told me that, I was like, "What? I should have been doing that the whole time." Oh,
Maria, do I have a big idea that I want to start creating an Unreal? Do I have enough knowledge for such a short film? Maybe. Uh, right now, I'm just messing around, just still learning. But Josh and I did make short films in the fellowship. That's
mm-hmm.
part of like the whole crash course thing. So, Unreal being like scene assembly, like if you have a bunch of models, lighting, especially in Unreal 5, has gotten pretty easy in Unreal. So if you have your models and you're doing scene assembly, it's something that if you Google the Unreal Fellowship, you'll see a lot of people who make shorts in a month who've never used Unreal prior, which you
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to do with like Maya. Like if you like just started using Maya, you're not going to make like a 3-minute short in the first month.
no
So
way.
there's certain things about Unreal that are very fast and intuitive.
I think once you kind of get your head around the way it works, it's pretty intuitive. It just takes a little bit of time to do that because it works differently than other software, especially if you're coming from a Maya or something like that. Just different. But it's definitely one of those things like you're saying where it is possible to do a short by yourself or with a very small team in Unreal. especially using marketplace assets and mocap from Mixamo or ActorCore or other places, or getting a mocap suit. Like, super possible to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you hear the music at all? It's very quiet for me, but I also don't want it to be too loud.
Yeah, I can hear it.
All right. How hard is it to drag and drop textures onto messy UV'd ZBrush models? I assume you're talking about Unreal. Dakota. It's pretty easy. I mean, you can drag and drop, materials onto anything pretty simply. They have some features if depending on like the way you want to map them, but the best way is just going to do quick, simple UVs. And just make your own textures really fast. You can also use Mixer, which is pretty quick. For me, I'd say that overall learning Unreal was relatively painless. I mean, it's got a lot of features that are in ways that you use it that are pretty intuitive. Like it's a program that's been around a while, so it's not like there's they've clearly gotten time to work on it and finesse it, and it's just solid. So it's a pretty easy to learn program in my opinion. It's just kind of daunting because of how big it is.
Yeah, it's just since it's a game engine, there's a lot of stuff that's very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's like the biggest challenge, I think, is you're using a game engine now. You're not using an offline renderer DCC. And then there's certain things you can't really do in it because it doesn't have modeling tools. So you're using it, sometimes as an assembly or layout or a rendering engine or something different than just like a straight up DCC where you can do all that stuff at one time.
Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, the thing is that, it's going to be, I think we're going to, I'm going to feel like a new with Unreal for a while. And then hopefully, a year from now, I'm super comfortable at. And so you can't really beat yourself up for not knowing how to do something if you haven't done it yet.
No,
So
absolutely
it's like,
not.
it's like I haven't rendered, flip books out of EmberGen, but I know that I can sit and figure it out. Whether it takes me an hour or it takes me a weekend, it's like, you just got to just make a decision of what you need to know. The thing is having a reason to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's good to have like projects.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, if you just keep learning stuff for the sake of learning stuff, it's kind of pointless.
I think you burn out too, just trying to learn stuff like that because you're like, I don't really know why I'm doing this after a certain point.
Yeah, like so for me, like I'm trying to get to the point with Unreal that I know how to do the environment stuff at the same level that I know how to do it in Maya, and I still have a lot of things left to check off on my list. Like I haven't done much with trees yet, so like I've done like speed tree to Maya and made trees in speed tree and sent them to Maya with wind and whatever. I haven't done that with Unreal yet, and it's a completely different workflow.
Right.
So like I've got all these things to figure out, but like I still don't have like my own tree library in Unreal, and Megascans doesn't have any trees in it, so that's on the list.
I've been wondering when they're going to add trees. I feel like that's a very logical next step for them.
I bet you it's coming, especially since Unity bought Speed Tree.
Yeah, it would have to be.
So I'm sure it's coming. The thing is that Megascans is all about scans. Can't really scan a tree,
right?
So like you kind of need to generate a procedural solution, and that's not really what Megascans is. So like I wonder if it's going to come from the Quixel team or if it's going to come from another team. We'll see.
That's interesting. What was the Creature Corner theme last night?
Last night they were finishing up projects they'd already started. So Jared worked on his turkey monster.
Yeah.
That he started last week. And Matt worked on his clown that he started a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
The creepy, scary clown.
Very.
Huh. Clowns always freak me out a little bit. They're not as bad as most people. Like, I don't have a fear of them. My sister has a very serious fear of clowns.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I used to mess with her about it. I ended up buying a velvet painting of a sad crying clown, and I put it in my bathroom one day, and then so when she came in to use it, she's like freaked out. Never went in there again. Then I had a bathroom.
Funny. Yeah, the only like nightmare from childhood I remember was with clowns.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, I remember I was like in my dream. I was like at home. I was probably like 5. And, like looked out the window of the living room, and it was nighttime, and there was like a clown out there. And then all of a sudden, there was just like all sorts of clowns outside, and then I ended up outside, and then like clowns were chasing me around the like perimeter of the house. I don't know. Sorry.
Right. You're like, I don't want this. I don't want any of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I see a texture. What do we got? Just starting to block out like the mood.
Yeah, I'm just playing with some settings right now, so it's nothing interesting yet. There we go.
The fog.
And then let's play with that a little bit. So, yeah, because for any environment, I just prefer to just start with a sky and dial in the lighting, and then once I've got that, then I can sort of start building it out if I'm just doodling. And so basically having the sky which is an HDR, which obviously is going to look awesome because it's real.
Yeah.
So I have a big library of skies, and again, it's like this is how I start, even if the sky's not going to be part of the final thing, and like it really helps set a mood.
Mm-hmm.
And then just creating a ground plane that's huge and just throwing a Megascan texture on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it's basically an HDR using the plugin, and then exponential height fog. And then the height fog is set to being volumetric. And then once you set it to volumetric, it'll get lit by the HDR,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome that the HDR can actually illuminate the fog.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't have a sun in here yet, because trying to get accurate like sun lighting from an HDR, like in any program, is kind of tricky because you have to sample the HDR so highly to get accurate like shading from a sun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the next thing I'm now going to do is just grab a rock or something just to dial in if I need a sun, and then I'll start bringing in more rocks and stuff.
Gotcha.
So let's see. Let's try this guy.
Let's do this one. We'll do this guy. What's the right way to do this one? Oh, that's way too big. What post-processing program do you use after rendering in Unreal? Nuke, After Effects? Question from Maria.
I like After Effects. Obviously, I know a lot of people who prefer Nuke.
Mm-hmm.
So like at Gnomon for like the finishing classes and demo reel, it's primarily Nuke because Miguel teaches them.
Mm-hmm.
And for like 32-bit workflows, like EXR compositing and deep compositing, Nuke is better. But for the stuff I do, I'm kind of fine with After Effects.
Yeah.
And I've got the Red Giant suite,
Mm-hmm.
which now belongs to Maxon, which is a lot of awesome plugins for After Effects and Premiere. And I really like the Magic Bullet plugin.
Mm-hmm.
For color grading. It's got a lot of really cool presets, which are great start points to kind of get different looks for your scenes. So, oh, there's Miguel. I love Nuke. We know you love Nuke. Miguel loves Nuke and loves fog. See, I need to go to my scene right now and set the fog density to 1.
You were summoned. Yeah, you ears were burning. Yeah.
Hello, Miguel. Ash, how many months do you think it takes to learn the basics of Houdini? That's a tough thing. It's hard. Everybody's different, and I don't know Houdini, so I can't accurately answer that. But I would say if it's similar to something like Maya, it depends what part of the program you want to learn. Because like Maya, you can do everything. So, do you want to learn, modeling? Do you want to learn texturing? Do you want to learn lighting? So, to learn everything in a program could take years. But so when you say, Ash, that you want to learn Houdini, like Houdini for effects, Houdini for terrains.
Yeah, a lot of options in there.
Yeah. All right, I need to turn off my auto exposure.
Just for procedural buildings and terrain, says Ash.
So yeah, I think that would probably take you less time than learning all the effects, stuff.
Hmm. I think our Houdini 1 class covers procedural terrains, if I'm not
Yeah. Yeah.
mistaken.
So like, I'm thinking like a intense 3 months, you could probably get comfortable. But again, everybody's different. We see a lot. Obviously at Gnomon, a lot of students start not knowing 3D at the beginning of the program, and some people pick stuff up faster than others. But by the end of the program, everybody's fine. So
Hmm.
certain concepts for some people click faster than others, but it doesn't mean in the long term that actually makes much of a difference. All right, let's see. I've got my fog working, with my sun working, with my HDR working.
Sounds like you're in business.
And now is when we save.
Yeah, hey, good call. Good call, good call. We're both doing it right now. Manuel Shoes in here. Hello. Welcome.
Hello, sir. Really enjoyed your stream the other day. Thanks for doing that. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
And David Bros in here. What's up, David?
Hello, hello.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Unreal 5, man. It's just the fact, I mean, this setup in here, HDR, Lumen, and fog. Just make sure you turn on volumetric for it to catch the light from the HDR. And I grabbed a whole bunch of HDRs from hdrskies.com just to build a library. I already had a library of HDRs, but they were kind of older and lower res. So now I have a whole bunch of 8K ones, which is nice. But one thing with Unreal to get used to, Unreal 5, no displacements.
Yeah. Still or whatever, depreciated, is that the right word?
Deprecated?
Deprecated.
Yeah, I guess, there's still world position offset because like I tried some of these water scenes. Like there's a couple like water projects on Marketplace that are awesome that have displaced water, and they work in Unreal 5 because they're actually not using displacements, they're using world position offset to animate the water to make it look like it's displaced. Because world position offset is another form of displacement, basically. Yeah, manual, it's all about nanite. So like any geometry you have, you just import like a super high res mesh and turn it into nanite. I don't know why they would get rid of displacements, but it's not in here. Like it's you'll see the pin on the material, but it doesn't do anything. So like if I want to displace the ground with the Megascans displacement, I can't. But then there's like a thing called virtual height field mesh, which is like an alternate way to displace things that does work.
It's so odd to me.
Lighting is a little bright. Change that. And then exposure, let's see, 9.
David says one day he hopes they get nanite working for deformable meshes and characters. Absolutely. It feels like you would need that at a certain point. So I'm still convinced that it's just got to be a beta thing. Because there's so many other workflows that are going to need it.
Yeah, for sure. But I haven't said anything about deformable meshes though, so it's not. It might not be in 5. It might be later.
Hmm.
So right now, the main thing that's an issue is that landscapes, like because my ground in here is a plane, so it'll contribute to lumen. But
Right.
if you use landscapes, like when you go to the landscape tool,
Hmm.
that doesn't reflect light with lumen. And foliage, like instance meshes painted with the foliage tool, those don't contribute to lumen either. Those are things that supposedly will be fixed for the release.
Ah,
If I like scattered like a whole bunch of green rocks on the ground right now using
yeah.
foliage, it wouldn't
Yeah.
emit green light into the scene. So like if you're going to scatter stuff that really needs to contribute, you were going to have to like do it by hand. That's why the if you open the Valley of the Ancients demo,
Hmm.
the one that Aaron Sims worked on,
Hmm.
there's no foliage in there and there's no uh, landscape meshes in there. It's all geo.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just kind of working around the limitation, I guess. That's interesting.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
I do like the interface of 5 when I was playing around in it. Just like, it just seems more cleaner and kind of accessible with the how it all works. I also like dark mode, so
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I need a scale reference. So let's a little dude. Oh, geez. See,
that's why you use it.
always need scale reference because I'm just like, look at this
Oh,
huge rock. Oh,
yeah, yeah. Sometimes when I'm
that's
out and I take reference photos, I'll take like zoom in on little rock formations or like puddles. Be like, this is cool. But that's exactly what you were just doing. Where it's like, oh, you were really really tight in there. Oh, I saw Ghostbusters last night. Ghostbusters Afterlife.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. A lot of callbacks to the originals. It's definitely for people who are fans of Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Mostly 1, but
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the last one.
yeah, it was fun, but I still like the original the most.
Oh yeah, completely.
No spoilers. I won't give you spoilers. Just you probably should see the first one if you're going to see the new one.
Zool.
Yeah. So how many of those did you end up downloading? A bunch of the assets from Megascans?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I downloaded some of the Cliff ones.
Uh-huh.
There's so many in there now. It's crazy. David, with the director of the new Ghostbusters. I think I saw on YouTube a recommended video with Adam Savage making like one of the backpacks. I forget what they're called.
Proton pack.
Yeah, I think so.
I like his channel. I've watched a good amount of stuff on there.
Yeah, me too.
Did we see the 3D short film Tamo Junto? So beautiful. It was made by another artist that worked in Disney and other big companies. I've not seen it.
I have
So
not. You're welcome to share a link.
yeah, please do. Best of Term was just announced.
Yes.
A lot of cool work up there. A lot of good character work this term.
Yeah, there was some really, 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 really cool stuff. Although I really love that piece with the hands.
Yeah, that one's really cool. By Michael.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at it. I was just like, because he submitted like 3 renders. I was like, it looks like a figure, like it, you know. And then I found the post he made online where he said that that's, I guess he had a sculpt of like a dancer or something, and he aligned all the hands to kind of match the forms of the body.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, in case you don't know what we're talking about, Gnomon Best of Term. So there's a bunch of all student work from last term. Some really beautiful pieces up here. And this is the one that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Really cool.
That's awesome.
That's some really cool stuff. And he also did this one. Michael did.
Mm-hmm.
I love this one.
Yeah, that one's really, really nice too.
These are all great.
So yeah, it's not very often that we have one person win 2 categories. But hand one was so unique.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted people to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ash says the dog one is gorgeous. Yeah, the groom on this is great.
Oh yeah.
Super cool. And I love the lighting and just the whole...
Yeah, it's
just
really
everything
cool
was
because a lot of these were submitted like super high res. Like that one is
Yeah.
really, really cool when you see the super high res version of it.
Mm-hmm. I'll post that in the chat for anybody who wants to take a look.
Maria, where do I learn new things about Unreal? Well, I figure out something that I kind of want to learn, and then Google and YouTube and pinging people that I know who can potentially give advice. Gantz Zero on Netflix. Yeah, the hands thing also reminded me of there's a game called Inside, which is from the company that made Limbo, and there's a creature in that game that also is reminiscent. And then one of the Neil Blomkamp has like offload all those shorts that popped up on Netflix, and one of those shorts has like a pretty creepy monster creature that's made out of lots of limbs.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I don't know if that's maybe what David was just referring to.
I don't know. It's crazy how quickly your lighting got set up. Or is getting set up.
Yeah, it's just so awesome you don't have to bake anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would keep having this problem with Unreal 4 where like I would kind of be doing something that kind of looked the way where I was getting used to how it looked and I liked it, thinking I was lighting it. And then like I'd bake and then be like, oh, I got to bake. And then I'd bake and everything would look different.
Like,
I'd be
well,
like, God damn it. You know, so it's like one step forward, two steps back, like kept happening to me in Unreal 4. And that's not
mm-hmm.
happening to me in 5 at all because it's kind of like WYSIWYG, like the whole like what you see is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
Really, 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 really awesome.
He says Gantz is a photoreal CG anime, so maybe it is. Rodolfo from Twitch, hello. Hello and welcome.
Good evening.
Got a little bit of Unreal and some ZBrush going today. Some Unreal 5.
Yeah, I'm just bringing stuff in. Oops. There you go. Yeah. That's right. Dakota Fanning was in it, which was
Hmm.
surprising. Yeah, it's like Sigourney Weaver was in one.
Hmm.
So yeah, the Neil Blomkamp definitely got some big name people to be in a couple. I haven't watched all of them yet, but all right, I need to get some more.
That was somewhat recently, right?
Well, I guess they were on YouTube first, and then
Hmm.
Netflix acquired them or licensed them or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. See content. This marimba. Neat.
What?
Just the music, like the.
Oh.
It's just this sound on loop.
Do. Well, you have like 5 more seconds, so. Stephen Larson. Hey guys, your work is looking good. Thank you very much, Stephen. He released all the assets online for anyone to download and use. That's cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's always nice when somebody does that.
Custom slab. Do I have that in here? Let's see. I really need to make some collections and organize my stuff. Limestone slab. There we go.
What time is it in LA? It is 5:09 currently. PM.
I'm going to make myself, let's see, sequences. What I'm on level 6. New folder. Okay, camera. Create cinematic cine camera actor.
1 a.m. in Portugal. Good evening or nighttime to you. That's late.
Okay. Camera. Select camera. No, god damn it.
Two a.m. in Sweden. Wow.
Two a.m. Night owl.
Yeah. Seriously.
All right, camera.
this one. I can't stand that one.
A Halloweeny one.
Yeah, it's only like a minute long, too.
Gotta get in the habit of making my cine cameras earlier because I start blocking things out just using like the default viewport camera, which
yeah.
is like super wide angle field of view.
Oh, right. And then it's like, now when you switch to the other one, now it's like totally different.
And so it's like, I should just get in the habit of doing that first. All right. Okay. Save. Okay. Let's see. My directional light. Ooh. Do I need a sun or no sun?
You don't need it.
I think my sun is just contributing too much to the fog. Let's see. Like that's another thing that's just so amazing that I can just go to the volume scattering contribution on the sun and just like, how about 0.1?
Mm-hmm.
How about 0.5? And it's
You'll find it, yeah.
after years of trying to render that stuff, even with, V-Ray and then Redshift and it just being slow, and even with GPU rendering with Redshift, it's just like magic. It's so interactive now. Let's see, so maybe we want it to just not be so bright.
Emmanuel says, it's weird. I feel like we're working together. Yeah, it is kind of one of those things, right?
That's like, now that I'm getting used to the streams, like last night with Jared and Matt streaming, like I really look forward to it now, because then I just put them on the other monitor and then I'm just, while they're working on their own personal work, then it makes me want to work on my own personal work. And it does feel like just sort of hanging out. So yeah, no, I'm digging it. Next is Miguel.
If he's still here.
I don't know if Miguel's in here, but need to get Miguel to start streaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, camera keyframe. Well, David. There you go. We're all being productive.
Mm-hmm.
All right, camera will start there. And then we'll just end up over here. Nice. Oh, god damn it.
Just doing a little pan.
That's the whole, like, maybe David knows. Being able to middle mouse, like Maya, being able to middle mouse button drag the timeline so that you can change the marker without updating the animation. Because it does not seem to have that functionality. David, you know how like in Maya, if you're animating, you can like move the marker on the timeline, you know, with your middle mouse button, and it doesn't scrub the animation, it just moves the marker. So like you could set a keyframe at a different frame than where you're at. And in Unreal, I haven't been able to see if there's a way to do that. Okay, very slow camera move. That's all I need. Okay.
Do you have any movies that you work to? Obviously, we're listening to music, but like, do you have movies that you've watched like a million times that you work to? Or do you ever work to
I don't
movies?
really work to movies. I only
No.
work to music. Yeah. I have, it's weird. It's with the computer, I don't, but like drawing, I will.
Mm.
Like when I was doing Inktober last year and the year before,
Yeah.
I constantly just had movies going.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Something about, I don't know. I don't know how to explain why I'm comfortable with movies and drawing, but not with 3D on the computer. Makes no
That's
sense.
interesting. I think I've watched like I've watched Alien a ton, but like Jurassic Park is one that I used to have just have a folder that I used to watch of movies. Just over and over and over and over and over.
Oh man, Arcane. After this is over, I'm gonna be watching episodes 6 through 9.
Yeah, I'm on what would it be on? 8. I'm on 8 now.
Yeah, it's like I totally like I watched the first, 3, and then the second 3 came out, watched those, and then just I don't know, with Thanksgiving and whatever, just kind of like spaced on 6 through 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a couple days ago I was like, oh shit, there's 3 new episodes. But then been busy, so yeah, I can't wait. Arcane is just amazing.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen Hunt for the Red October in a very long time.
Oh, I watched it like a year ago. Such a good movie. Yeah, Aliens I could watch over and over and over again for sure. Yeah, Aliens I've seen a million times. Blade Runner I've seen a million times. All the 80s fantasy like Willow, Last Starfighter, Krull, like any 80s fantasy, like Dragon's Lair, I can have those on loop for sure.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I would, watch while working. It's never or very rarely something that I've never seen. Like an Arcane. Like if I was going to watch Arcane, I'd be like, no, I'm just going to get distracted while I'm working.
Okay, back to bridge. Jaws I just rewatched a couple weeks ago. I hadn't seen that in forever. Such
Yeah,
an amazingly well made,
it's so good.
captivating movie.
Yeah. And just really good characters, too. Like it's not just about obviously the shark, but like all the main characters are great. Have you seen the other Jaws movies? I actually have never seen any of the other Jaws movies.
I back when they came out, I saw the second one, and then the third one I think was in 3D with like the red and blue glasses.
Oh yeah, that sounds right. I
I
think I've
think,
seen posters of that.
yeah. And then yeah, because it's surprising that like the second one and the third one still have Roy Scheider in them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like sequels where like all the actors are gone
Are
and
gone.
yeah, Jaws 3D.
Yep. Yeah, the conversation in the boat at night, the three of them around that table. Or at that table. This is a good one. If Sharknado starred Bill Paxton, I'd like it even more.
I never saw Sharknado, and I feel like I should.
I saw it once a long time ago. Like right when it came out. It's
Yeah.
entertaining.
Oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
it is. But what was the one with like the megalodon?
Meg. I think the Meg.
Meg. Oh man, did you see that?
Yeah. I remember that
That
one.
was redonkulous.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Dude, that movie was crazy.
Yeah.
It seems
That
like
was
you
Jason
haven't.
Statham,
Was that? Yeah,
wasn't
that
it?
was. Uh-huh.
Sorry, what were you saying? Seems like I haven't.
That your internet's working.
It seems to be much better. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. So probably after the holidays, I'll spend some time to really figure out how to wire it in for good. But in a visually appealing way. For now, it works great. after Arcane had come out, I went to play some League of Legends because I hadn't played it in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I realized exactly how bad the internet was getting because it would be great. And I would have, like, it shows you you're ping. And so I'd have like 60-second, or 60 millisecond or 30 millisecond ping. It'd be
Mm-hmm.
really good, really good. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it would go to like, you know, 2,500 milliseconds. And you're like, wait, what? And all of a sudden, you can't do anything. You can't play anything. And then within like 10 seconds, it's back. But it's like, okay, this is as I was expecting. It's not just while streaming; it's all the time. So, kind of confirmed to that. Uh, Sometimes just rotating things in 3D just cracks me up on accident. Where I was just trying to adjust these eyes, and all of
Uh-huh.
a sudden I started rotating them, and it was doing this move.
Oh.
Started to look like I don't know what it is. It just looked real weird for a minute. Elf or vampire? It could be either. Could be either. I was looking at just some of the, Mad Maxy stuff where there's like, I want to play around with some of the existing textures and stuff. So whether there's just like some form of like a line or like a thing on them, I'll probably do something like this. I don't know if this is the shape, but just something like that. And just play around with some of the stuff that I was seeing other people do. So
Can you swap so that yours is in the bigger spot?
yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, probably some form of like a face paint or tribal marking or the Furiosa thing. This is probably this kind of thing. So I'll play around with that later. But right now, just trying to block in ahead. I don't think, according to what I was reading with all their stuff, I should go too far in details, obviously. So it's probably going to be relatively smooth and just overall shapes, and just going to kind of experiment with like if I wanted to sculpt in like this stuff, like let's say I wanted to do like these wrinkles. I don't know if that would look right or wrong with the 3D Scan Store projection stuff.
Yeah, right.
Or if I know that if I did like, I could obviously enhance the textures if I did something like, these little, like if I wanted to do like a little thing,
Mm-hmm.
that could probably work.
I mean, I think you just do what you want, do the projection. You can always smooth out the sculpt afterwards
Mm-hmm.
and swap it. Because there's definitely, on their example page, like in their gallery, there's stuff that's like much more like goblin-y and
Yeah.
things that are definitely deviate from human quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mondella asked, is it possible for a guy to not be a VFX generalist and know only the barest essentials about the VFX pipeline, but still be successful as a VFX tools developer, like writing glue process UI, asset management, etc.? I mean, I haven't known many software developers, but the ones that I have known weren't really artists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they were focused on tools and collaborating with artists, but they weren't necessarily, you know, able to use like Maya the way the artists on the team were able to. But they definitely knew enough about software development to be able to collaborate with the leads, figure out what was needed. And so I don't think that to be a tool developer, you necessarily need to be a VFX artist specifically. But you probably want to know enough about the tools so that you understand what your does and does not need to be done. But I'm not the best person to give advice on that, to be honest, since I'm not a developer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. I don't really know the answer to that one. I'm sure it's, you know, if you're doing tool development, it's, you know, you're writing tools and, like you're saying, processes and asset management. I'm sure it's probably fine. I'm sure it would be helpful to know about it, because then you kind of know what they're needing or what they're looking for and speak that language a little bit. But I don't know if it would be like a requirement.
Yeah, artists definitely don't. Not anymore. Back in the 90s, a little bit more common than now. Yeah, same with me, David. Yeah, I mean, definitely if you're into rigging and, you know, effects and particles, then knowing that stuff is far more important than if you're like, you know, modeling, texturing, lighting.
Good tools are worth so much, though. Absolutely. Yeah, you get a good tool team on your team, and it will save you so much time, and they are your best friends. The tools are like the artist's best friends, because it's always like, oh, I really hate doing this part of this tedious part of the job. And then it's like, oh, I can make you a tool that does that in a button click. Like, that is amazing. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sarah. Doing good. How are you? Pipe Power. If I went to an education that focused more on 3D animation and want to instead go into game dev, should I approach game dev directly or secure a job in animation because of existing knowledge? Currently a 3D artist looking to get into environment art. I mean, I think you need to focus on what you really are passionate about and what you really want to do and focus on that and get as good at that as you can. And until you're employable, the issue is, if you're already employed, I know a lot of people who have a job that they like but would rather do something different, and so they spend their evenings and weekends developing an alternate set of skills. We have a lot of students at Gnomon like that. Like, while we have lots of full-time students that are younger, we have lots of older students that are working professionals or adults that are making career changes. So the main thing is, picking what you really, really want to do with focus in a way that's achievable, meaning like picking things that are relatable. You want to get into modeling and texturing, you want to get into rigging and animation, you want to get into lighting and compositing, as opposed to trying to like learn everything. But environment art, requires a lot of different skills, because it is kind of like being an environment artist. It's a little bit of modeling and texturing and lighting, and um, there's a lot of different tools that are useful and good to know. Like, beyond Unreal, there's things like Maya and World Machine and SpeedTree and ZBrush and photogrammetry. So it's a lot of stuff to learn, but again, it's just time.
That blue is cool.
Yeah.
With that little blue and pink.
It was just feeling a little orange, so I'm trying to cool it down a little bit.
Right. When learning environments, is it a good idea to have one goal in mind with each project? Like, this project, I should focus on better topology, and this project, I should focus on learning substance designer, etc.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good way to do it. That's how I often have done projects, is like done a project, personal projects, where it's about learning SpeedTree or it's about learning World Machine. So like, if I, you know, pulled up, let me see, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Let's see, I like, like these images were when I was learning World Machine, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And so meaning that like the only thing that's in these renders are these are Maya renders, but it's just a plane with a world machine displacement on it. So that's what this one is. This is literally just a plane in the scene with a displacement. This one is maybe like 3 planes. So while I was learning world machine, I was just making all these displacements and bringing them to Maya. Um, so just giving myself, exercises, um, and then the texturing was just done with Megascans. Um, let's see, and then like for speed tree, still remember learning speed tree for. Where's the image I made when I learned speed tree? You're not in there. Maybe it's a different folder. There it is. And then this image I made when I was learning speed tree. So it's a ZBrush sculpt of a head, and then just a whole bunch of plants that I made in speed tree. So, so this is like this image is predominantly about the plants. So I think, don't like try and do a environment that has everything. Just try and keep it simple.
Yeah, I think especially if you're learning something, it's fine to do that. To just do a simple project or a project that is focused around that thing. Doesn't mean you can't make a portfolio piece out of it. You still can. It's whatever you're learning is probably going to be the focus of that project.
Yeah. Floating space. Yeah, I mean the thing is that it's individuals who are making the stuff on marketplace who are making money from that. So if Epic had something like that, that would cost to distribute that money to all the random developers that are making stuff for marketplace. I could see that being prohibitive to Epic to do something like that. But it would be cool. I agree.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Thank you. Hard to say your name though. SM311YBAT.
I think that's Smelly Bat.
Oh my god. I'm concentrating on other things.
Well, you gotta throw the numbers in there.
That's really funny. Sarah, advice on software you could use to make a realistic desert dune terrain. Well, definitely World Machine or Gaia are going to be useful for making those kinds of things, and those tools tend to come with lots of presets. And so finding desert dunes, like sand dunes, presets for Gaia or World Machine probably shouldn't be too difficult. For Unreal, there's definitely some sand dune environment packs on Marketplace, but they might not be exactly what you're looking for from a design perspective. And so that's where learning World Machine or Gaia or the terrain tools in Houdini, but the Houdini option is a little bit complicated if you don't know Houdini. So that's why Gaia and World Machine are awesome.
Gaia has a perpetual license. I didn't know that. Interesting. Chaos Overflow from Twitch says it's really easy to make dunes in Houdini. Only 3 nodes needed to get the basic shape.
Once you know Houdini.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I knew Houdini. But how to pick your battles. Dale Andrew, are the Fire and Mist cards off the UE marketplace, or did you create them or source them? I made the fog cards. And so the stream last week, I talked about that. So I don't know if you can really notice just because you guys are seeing it kind of small, but the fog cards that are playing on the ground in there. So those last week I made and talked about how to do that with Flow Map Painter. So if you look at last week's streams, I basically grab a photo of smoke and then use Flow Map Painter to make a flow map and then bring that into Unreal. For the fire, I got that off of Marketplace, and this is a fire loop that's made with Embergen. And so which was awesome to find. Embergen is a really cool tool that's very user friendly. So making these kind of loops yourself wouldn't be that difficult, but I did find this one on Marketplace. And so look for, it's called Realistic Fire Effects Pack. It's just a card, so it's just a plane that has a loop playing on it, but they look awesome. So obviously you wouldn't want that like, right up in camera, but for like midground, background, looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I dig it.
Could you do the same to make sand blowing across a desert? Yeah, I mean, there's obviously ways to do it with cards, and there's ways to do it with particles. So if you look at the Valley of the Ancients, Unreal 5 content on Marketplace, which is free, they have ground fog that's done with particles, which is really, really cool looking. But it's a much more technical solution because it's using Niagara and it's more involved. And like, so I wouldn't know how to do that from scratch. And I'm sure it would take me a while to deconstruct that to figure out how to do it. But using cards can be really, really shockingly effective if you position them well, because the material that I have on the fog cards has depth fade, so like they automatically fade out when they intersect other objects, so you don't get a hard edge. So it makes it really easy to kind of blend them into your environment. So yeah, so like I've got another one that I did, which isn't sand, but what you just said kind of reminded me of a test I did with flow maps, which is, oh God, where's that going to be? Actually, maybe it's in here. Oh no, it's not. Let me see if I can find that clip. Projects, flow maps. No. Looking. There we go. I'm gonna sneeze.
That's up.
Suddenly. Don't play full screen. There we go. God, took a while. So yeah, so like this clip, so like it kind of has the vibe of like, what you see on like snowy mountains of like, the mist getting blown off, but that's just a couple cards. That's 2 cards with flow maps on them. So I just positioned the flow maps, and so like if you look here where my mouse is, kind of looks like it's kind of getting blown off the mountaintop, and that's just designing picking the picture of smoke or painting a picture of smoke, and having the flow map have the right movement to it. Because if that was particles, it'd be a bunch of particles and take a long time.
Oh yeah.
Should I start learning UE4 or 5 first? Probably UE4. They're the same program. Yeah. So I'd say, if you're in production, then you'd want to stick with 4 probably, just because 5 is still beta. But if you're a student and you're learning, there's no reason not to jump into 5. Mm-hmm. It's surprisingly stable. I kind of put it off because I thought it was going to be really buggy. And we did an event, which I recommend watching, with Aaron Sims, where he talked about his short a couple weeks ago, and they used 5 for that. And that's kind of what convinced me to jump into 5. It was like, well, if they can make that short with 5, they said it was stable, they didn't have a lot of problems. So I think there's no reason not to jump into 5 if you're a student and you're learning. It's just there's a couple things that don't work yet that may or may not be important to you. So like if you really need displacements, don't use 5. If you really need to focus on like landscapes, using the landscape tool with foliage, like those are better supported in 4. But generally speaking, most stuff seems to be working in 5. The thing with going to 5, I've found, is that migrating stuff is kind of a pain, because you need if you download stuff on Marketplace, people aren't allowed to sell Unreal 5 stuff on Marketplace yet. And so what that means is everything on Marketplace is for 4. So if you're using 5 and you want to get something from Marketplace into your scene, you have to first load the project into 4 and then migrate it from that 4 project to your 5 project.
Interesting.
So it's an extra step. So yeah, I'm talking about like projects as opposed to assets. And so like like the Fire Loop project that I grabbed yesterday that's playing in the upper left corner. So like that was a 4, that was a project. So, but it's fine. Like load it into 4, create the project as a 4 project, and then open that 4 project once you launch 5, and then it'll convert it, and then it's fine. And take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I'm still kind of new to Unreal.
There it is again.
Oh God, oh yeah, the marimba.
Not again.
We have 2 more options. Adam just posted something. Tomorrow, 7:30, behind the scenes look at how a virtual stage is built and used for production with a team at 3,500 Kelvin. That should be
a cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to do a full tour of their space, talking about how the volume's made. It should be a cool one.
So yeah,
definitely check that out.
Check that out. So we're almost out of time, but Mandela, can we comment on if LinkedIn is still important for people? Yes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
LinkedIn is very, very popular. A lot of people have switched from Facebook over to LinkedIn, so I would say for sure on LinkedIn. If you're going to drop something, drop Facebook.
Yeah.
Acid packs, blueprints, and all that can be added directly to UE5 now, which is helpful. Just need to ask it politely when adding to your project. Nanite is too good to pass up. Yeah, Nanite's rad. Friday, 11 a.m. PST, we'll be talking about animation for games with Mo. Yeah, that should be really cool too. God, we just have so many streams going on now. It's awesome.
Yeah, 2 on Tuesday. We have Wednesday, we have this one, and then Thursdays we'll often have some events, and then Fridays we'll do those instructor spotlights or alumni spotlights. So a lot of stuff going on.
But you made a head. I made a little.
I did. I put some little mech face things in it. This might be a bad idea, but I kind of am curious to see if it'll look good or not. But I'll probably keep it at this point and then start transferring stuff over and see what it looks like before I go any further in my test.
Cool.
Or I'll just load up a different one at some point. But I think it'll be fun to test out that workflow.
Yeah, no, I'm curious to see where you go with it, because I think it should be pretty straightforward as long as that wrap program's not too bad.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out and play that. I think it's pretty straightforward. I just have to play with it, I think. I like the lighting in your scene.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's like started off slow, and the thing I just need to get used to is like I need to, like, Unreal 5 now has collections where you can like organize all the assets you have in like your content browser, so you can be like, these are my trees and these are my plants and these are my, like, I kind of need to do that in this project. and just like really organize some collections so it's faster to find stuff and get a lot more stuff in here, because trying to browse Bridge and bring stuff in from Bridge and download them as nanites like during the stream is just going to slow things down way too much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for hanging out with us for a while. And as Alex was saying, we have a bunch of other streams coming up, so stay tuned for those. As always, like, you know, the classic like, follow, subscribe. You'll get some notifications for what we're doing next. And otherwise, we'll see you next time on Art Jam.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, and everybody have a good evening.
Bye.
All right, later, everybody.